So as you may or may not know, Marvel is kinda expanding their universe slowly but surely with different corners of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got the cosmic side of the MCU, you got the kind of magic side, and then we of course got the more grounded street level side of the MCU. With that, each corner is going to have their own main villain, and Marvel just set up the street level corner's main villain, Kingpin. And we're going to talk about that and how they set that up for Spider-Man 4, and as well some other Spider-Man 4 news too, and kind of some of my speculation and where I would like the MCU to take Spider-Man throughout his journey from Avengers to his next trilogy. So let's get started. For the cast for Spider-Man 4, we still don't have any confirmations, pretty much other than Tom as Spider-Man / Peter Parker, Zendaya as MJ, and that's pretty much it right now for like pretty much confirmed. For the director, they are currently looking at Drew Goddard, who did showrun Daredevil Netflix when that came out instead of John Watts like they had for the original Tom Home trilogy. But let's go into some rumored castings or stuff that's not confirmed but kind of like likely to happen. As per usual, the following are rumors, so with that being said, anything not confirmed by Sony, Marvel, or an executive at Sony or Marvel are to be taken with a grain of salt. So some rumored castings right now are as follows: Charlie Cox as Daredevil / Matt Murdock, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, aka the Mayor of New York, Michael Mando as Matt Gargan, aka Scorpion, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, and apparently, this is like emphasis on rumor, apparently Natalie Allen Lind as Black Cat. I think this would be a solid cast, honestly. So let's go over a couple of these. Natalie Allen Lind, that'd be a very nice looking Black Cat. Michael Mando, Scorpion, hopefully that comes to fruition since it's been years since Homecoming's post-credit scene. Daredevil would of course be awesome, but as well Kingpin. So let's kind of, talk about Kingpin, Daredevil, and as well what just happened with Echo and how exactly that sets up Daredevil Born Again, but also Spider-Man 4. Then we're going to kind of go into like the possible routes they're going to go for Tom's next Spider-Man trilogy. So essentially in Echo, to skip all the bullshit that happens in that show, one of Kingpin's heads of crime or whatever died, I think, or some shit, because Echo blew up one of Fisk's armories. I don't know, not gonna lie, that show is confusing as fuck at times, but nonetheless, by the end of the show, it's revealed that Kingpin hasn't been in New York for like 5 months, I think, and everything's spiraling out of control over there, I guess. But as well, in the post-credit scene, he's heading back to New York on his private jet. He's talking about his crime organization falling apart because of the events of Echo, so he's watching TV on his private plane. It's on mute, but you can see the headlines of NYC race for mayor, no clear front runner. He unmutes the TV and they describe the ideal candidate. And most people want a fighter, a bare knuckle brawler, and that kind of describes Kingpin. So, like he becomes intrigued. He's continuing to listen, and I imagine somewhere in his run for mayor, his campaign, he will very likely reference the events of Hawkeye and be like, yeah, I got shot in the face, but I'm still here kicking it, fighting for this city due to how bad the crime has gotten, so vote for me and I'll clean the streets up type shit. And it's actually already insane the pull that Kingpin has in the MCU on New York, considering that literally in the first episode of Echo, he deadass grabbed Maya from the cops after she pulled whatever stunt she pulled and put her in his car, drove off like it was nothing. The cops just let him do that shit and was like, yeah, that's Kingpin, just let bro rock out, let him do what he wants, like we don't want no smoke, gang. I think one of the cops even said to each other, do you know who that is, type shit. So Kingpin already is kind of running New York City, but this time around he'll actually be running it legally alongside illegally like he has been. But anyhow, as the news goes on, they say like, oh well, if there was someone like that, wouldn't they have come out and started running by now? But if there is someone like that who exists, the process isn't too late. There's still time. As Kingpin stares and the wheels are turning in his head, he leans in where he decides he's gonna run for mayor and run New York legally and illegally. So it's very likely that Kingpin is, gonna run his campaign during Daredevil Born Again. Probably by the end of Daredevil Born Again, he'll become mayor, which sets up Spider-Man 4, where Kingpin will be mayor and Daredevil will be like, probably like, I can't do this alone. Let's get Spider-Man, Daredevil team up against Kingpin. Kingpin. If this is the plan, this is a W plan for Marvel, and this could actually be a great storyline if executed correctly. And when he's mayor, he's probably going to make some law of some sort going against vigilantes in New York City, which will of course affect all of the street level people like Echo, Daredevil, Punisher, Spider-Man of course. But I feel like who will be affected most by this is probably Daredevil or Matt Murdock, because in two ways, because he's one, a vigilante, but as well he's a lawyer who helps vigilantes, like how he did in No Way Home of course when he helped Spider-Man. So it's going to affect him in both sides of his life. So now what am I hoping for as far as like the overall kind of storyline of Spider-Man in the MCU going forward? What I'm kind of hoping for honestly is if they follow the animated series, not exactly but loosely, where they take the concept of essentially Kingpin gets a team of 6 villains to go out and hunt Spider-Man. I think that would be a good idea for Spider-Man 5 or something. I think this would be a good ideal timeline for Spider-Man's story from Spider-Man 4, Avengers Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, all the way up until Spider-Man 6. Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man and Daredevil team up against Kingpin. Kang Dynasty, whatever happens there, I don't know. Oh, for Spider-Man 4 also like Scorpion, whatever, you know. Secret Wars, Spider-Man gets the symbiote. Spider-Man 5, Kingpin still of course kind of wants Spider-Man gone, so he decides to pull together the Sinister Six, and symbiote Spider-Man whoops that team's ass. I was gonna say they go to jail, but I'm gonna spin back on that in a second. Some symbiote stuff in there too, the classic stuff of him losing himself to the symbiote and Eddie Brock setup maybe, or Venom setup in general. Back to the Sinister Six going to jail. Unless Kingpin kind of deploys the Sinister Six as like a legal team of mercenaries, like the Sinister Six is okay but Spider-Man isn't deal, kind of like the Thunderbolts but for them to take Spider-Man down, if that makes sense. So I feel like the first fight could be with Sinister Six, symbiote Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man has to defeat them alone by himself later on in the movie. No symbiote, no help from anybody, defeats the Sinister Six. I think that would be dope. Then Spider-Man 6, Spider-Man versus Venom. I think that would be a perfect next trilogy and general good storyline for Tom Spider-Man in the future. Now the only thing about the Sinister Six is like who would be in it. That's a little complicated because of course right now we have Mysterio possibly still alive in the MCU. Then we also have Chameleon in the MCU, but he just hasn't become Chameleon yet. It's this guy from Far From Home, the bus driver. Next we got Vulture, who's originally from the MCU but currently seems to for some dumbass reason be in the Venomverse, Sony's Venom universe, along with Morbius, of course Venom, also as well Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web too, although she's not really a villain. So yeah, that situation is complicated, but hopefully Secret Wars can clean all of this bullshit up, especially as far as Spider-Man stuff goes, because it's literally just all over the place, and hopefully everything will be in one universe, and that's how we can get a proper Sinister Six team up for Spider-Man 5 hopefully, or something like that. But overall we got Kingpin being set up to be a massive player in the MCU as far as the street level side of stuff goes. There was an interview recently with Echo producer Brad Winderbaum, however that is supposed to be pronounced. The interviewers asked him if Kingpin is the next Thanos level threat for the street level of the MCU, and he said you hit the nail on the head, saying pretty much yes, you got that exactly correct. So I say this is pretty exciting guys. I cannot wait. We're building up Kingpin for Daredevil in Daredevil Spider-Man 4, and hopefully we can get a cool Avengers film with Kingpin as the main villain. That would be pretty awesome to see how that would go down. Kingpin versus all the street level people in one film. Just kind of me spitballing random idea, but what are you guys thinking of all this? Do you think this is a great idea to make Kingpin mayor of New York and cause trouble for our beloved heroes in the MCU? Or are you thinking, kind of wish they'd do something else? With that being said, I want to hear your opinion, so make sure to comment down below so I can interact with you in the comments. Thank you for taking time out of your day to click on this video. If you're new to the channel, I try my best to cover confirmations, rumors, leaks regarding Spider-Man media, and whatever else I'm interested in. So if that's what you're interested in, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 5K. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and to check out my last upload at the top left. Hope you have had a good day and that you enjoyed the video. Until next time.